All right, hey now, it's the Rob from 106.1.
Rob, wait.
What?
This is post to post. We got to do something big, something out there.
What were you thinking?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Town Square Media and 106.1 KISS FM proudly bring to you your podcast champions of the world. He's the R to the O to the B. I'm STEVE. We are your hosts with the most, bringing you everything wrestling related from post to post.
Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM, here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Hey guys, it's me, Steve, web contributor to 106.1 evansville.com.
Okay, and today we've got a fun topic here.
Yes.
We're going to talk about celebrities and their involvement in wrestling, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I jotted down some notes before we started filming because first I decided to ask myself, what makes a celebrity involvement in wrestling good or bad?
Yeah.
And I came up with just a handful of things to talk about that makes a celebrity involvement good. For example, a good celebrity involvement, I feel like, will leave the product in a better place than they started.
Yes.
I think that's important. A good celebrity is happy to be there,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to a bad celebrity who can sometimes come across as embarrassed to be there. We'll get to some of those. I feel like a good celebrity gets what's going on, gets what makes wrestling a unique aspect of show business, which it is. It's not a normal sporting event. It's not a normal TV show. It's different than everything else. And also, I think that a good celebrity in wrestling happens to be a fan of wrestling.
Definitely.
Bad traits also include people that are only there to promote a product. You know, do not care about what's happening, don't care about wrestling at all, or and this is another thing that can come up, just are irrelevant, and we'll get to some of those here too, because I've got a whole bunch of names to talk about here. So, Steve, will you throw some names out there, or where are you at on this this topic?
I've got tons of names in here. I want to start off with one who I think was good and bad, and that's Mike Tyson.
Okay, I have him on my good list.
Okay.
And if I had to put a gold medal on a celebrity who I would think is a good contributor to the sport or the entertainment of wrestling, I would say Mike Tyson is probably my number one. What makes him, I think we all kind of know what makes him good. I think that his most positive contribution involved WrestleMania 14.
Yes.
But he's been on there several times before. A real fan of wrestling. Always a very relevant celebrity for the most part. I don't see what makes him bad. How is he good and bad?
The only thing that makes him bad is he gets wrestling, but he doesn't get it. There was sometimes it just seemed like he didn't know what was going on, not necessarily in the wrestling, just around him.
Well, he's kind of a confused guy in life, I feel like. But I feel like really, if I'm going to crown a number one, I'd have to give it to Mike. He's not perfect, but he's certainly someone who gets what's going on, happy to be there, left the product better. He met all my criteria for being a good celebrity.
Okay, my gold medal would actually go to Mr. T.
Mr. T is actually the next name on my list for being a good celebrity.
Okay.
You can certainly argue he's a great contributor, but also meets all the aspects of being a good contributor.
And he contributed to both WWE and WCW.
Yeah, but I think his biggest contributions really came in WWE.
Oh, yeah, WrestleMania 1 and 2.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. And remember, at that time, he was so relevant.
Yes.
The A-Team, he was just a big Hollywood star. He made a lot of sense to be there. Plus, he was happy to, he'd be on SNL with Hulk Hogan and be on morning shows with Hulk Hogan. And that's really important, I feel like. Just someone who's happy to be there. Another name who I feel is a positive contributor was Shaquille O'Neal. Didn't have those high-profile moments like Mr. T did. Mr. T was involved in matches at WrestleMania 1 and 2. And Tyson had that huge profile thing with Austin and Michaels at WrestleMania 14. Shaq doesn't have that big moment, but has always been kind of around and is just genuinely happy to be there. Always a big name in basketball, so I feel like he's a notch on the good side.
Yeah, I think his big moment may actually be coming next WrestleMania.
Perhaps, yeah, because of this past WrestleMania, and he's been at previous ones before that. The person I'm most looking forward to getting inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame is Cyndi Lauper.
Yes.
And while we haven't heard much from her in a very long time, I feel like her contributions during the rock and wrestling era around 85 and that first WrestleMania can't go understated.
Oh, no, not at all.
She was a very big fan of the product and helped elevate it to get it as mainstream as it is today. A very, very positive contribution to celebrities involved in wrestling.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, let's talk about some bad ones.
Okay? The first names on my bad list, I don't know why they came to mind first, but they did, were Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they weren't like, they didn't do anything bad, and they really, I remember being 11 and 12 when they were around wrestling, and being titillated by that, and them being very excited that they were there. But they just struck me as kind of embarrassed. They seemed like they didn't care with what they were doing at WrestleMania 11. Didn't know one name from another. Just kind of there, and a little disappointed in their involvement. I guess they could have really taken the bull by the horns, but didn't.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look past them.
Okay.
To see what they didn't contribute.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. What about you? A bad celebrity?
Jay Leno.
I have him on my list of other. And
okay.
I guess I kind of have a category for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Jay Leno. Okay, let's talk about this.
He should not have gotten the wrestling ring as a competitor.
Is that his fault?
No, it's not his fault. I mean,
right, exactly.
He's trying to sell his brand, and WCW wanted to make ratings, but it did not work.
Jay was a guy who I have a hard time putting him in the bad category, but also have a hard time putting him in the good category. I can't put him in the good category because he didn't leave the product better. Maybe not his fault, but he didn't leave it better. That match is tough to watch.
Yeah.
But again, he shouldn't have been in there. That's not his fault. But did have a super high profile involvement. Was very got the impression he was excited to be there. And I think that what went wrong with Jay was not Jay's fault.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, but again, I blame the situation, and he's the one that's going to take the blame.
For everything I just said about Jay Leno, the same can be said for this next person, except for times 100. Do you already know where I'm going with this?
I'm 99% sure I know where you're going.
I'm going with David Arquette.
Yes.
Okay, so while David Arquette I can't put in the good category because he's David Arquette and he had that title run, which is a lot of people point to as maybe the low point in mainstream wrestling. Yes. I don't blame him for what happened.
I do blame him for his.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I mean, he's trying to promote Ready to Rumble at the time. I mean, they put him in the camera, and he is so in wrestling, he goes overboard.
WCW was more excited to promote that movie than David Arquette was.
Yes.
I can't blame him for that. He was booked wrong. That doesn't mean... See, I do think he's a fan. And
yeah, he's a fan, but he goes overboard.
Was eager to step into the ring, which is a positive thing. Excited to be there. His relevancy is questionable. I mean, he was at his most relevant at the time, but that's never been very relevant. Yeah. He should not have gotten the title. He should probably not have stepped in the ring beyond one match. But I blame Russo. I blame WCW. Yeah. Why do you blame David?
Because he, as a fan, should have known that he should not have gotten that title. They should have come up with another story for that. He could have helped someone get a title. I mean, there's 10 different other ways he could have been involved and not became champion. You
make a very good point, but I'm going to go ahead and respectfully disagree. I blame the booking. I blame the booking on that. And I'm sure we can argue about Arquette until the cows come home. And please do not mistake me for being positive on him.
Yeah.
I have no problem with him. My problem with him was from the writing point of view. It was just that they made him champion. That should never have happened.
I just have a problem all around.
All right, who else is a bad celebrity?
One I considered bad isn't even a real celebrity. He's a character in a movie, RoboCop.
Okay, sure.
They used him as a publicity stunt, and basically all he did was walk around the ring for one match.
Yeah, no, it was so goofy. It did not leave the product better at all. No. That's a great example of a bad celebrity. What about this one? Ironically, because this person is actually a Hall of Famer, Drew Carey.
Oh, I hate that he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he was eaten alive during his acceptance speech because he does not belong there. I don't know why he's in the Hall of Fame, but that makes him an even worse celebrity, I feel like. Had one goofy appearance in one Royal Rumble. They're to promote a TV show. It just didn't. While I like that he was ready to step into the ring and kind of give himself a little bit, he didn't. Like, he just kind of went in and went out and didn't really care.
Rob, you have been to a few WrestleManias, multiple house shows.
One WrestleMania.
One WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, more pay-per-views
But almost anyway, 60 live
everything
events.
you've done for wrestling. You're a celebrity. You need to be in there before Drew Carey.
I'm not a celebrity by any stretch of the imagination, but I would argue I've done more positive things for wrestling than Drew Carey has. What about Kiss? In WC, there's a great example of people who only care about publicity, only care about money, did not care about being a part of an actual product, despite having a character named after them.
Yep.
Which also didn't go very well. I have one more on my bad list.
Okay.
I guess I feel like this is just not a good mix. I'm going to say Machine Gun Kelly, MGK, has appeared at multiple WrestleManias, if I'm not mistaken. Has had a few Raw appearances as well. As a fan of hip-hop music, I don't accept him as anything. I enjoyed that genre. Machine Gun Kelly is irrelevant to me. Yeah. And I bet you I enjoy hip-hop more than 95% of the wrestling audience. So if I don't care about Machine Gun Kelly, I can't imagine many other people watching do. Yeah. Does not have hit records, but is being exposed crazy and like main events of WrestleMania level. Just no. No one likes the music. I feel like no one cares about him. Awkward presence in the ring. I feel like they try to convince me he's a star. I hate that.
Yeah. 3 more names I'll throw out real fast, and you can comment on any of them.
Are these in the other?
These are what I consider bad.
Okay, sure.
Master P, Dennis Rodman, and Kevin Federline are all in the same group to me.
Rodman's in my questionable category.
Okay.
Rodman was very, very popular at the time, and Rodman also cared. Care's not the right word. Rodman respected wrestling. I feel like he had bad matches, and I'm trying to separate bad matches from bad celebrity involvement. Okay. You can't expect celebrities to be having great matches. Same with Federline. Federline is a good example of a bad choice.
He shouldn't even have been on camera.
That's a really good example. Rodman I have in my other category just because I feel like he brought a lot of eyes to the product. You know, SportsCenter would be talking about his involvement. And I can't just say because the matches were bad that Rodman was a bad involvement. So that's why I have him questionable.
What do you think about Master P?
Master P, I wasn't really watching WCW when he made his contributions, but obviously they kind of went over like a fart in church. Yeah. I would say that, while I'm not the best person to comment on that, what do you think? You sell him as a bad celebrity to me.
I mean, he really didn't do anything. I mean, he kind of brought some wrestlers, and he feuded with Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig's.
West Texas Rednecks.
Yeah, West Texas Rednecks.
That's why it's a mouthful.
And the wrestling is crap, or rap is crap tour.
People love that.
Yeah.
People love the rap is crap thing.
But yeah, the Master P side it didn't do anything for me, and I still considered myself a fan at the time.
I'll give you some rapid fire names I have in my good category too. Okay. I mentioned Tyson, Mr. T, Shaq, and Cyndi Lauper. What about potential future President Donald Trump? I have him as good. Not good in the world of politics or as a human being, exactly. But as a celebrity crossover in the world of wrestling.
As a wrestling character, Donald Trump fits right in.
I think so too.
I mean, he's just another Vince McMahon.
How crazy is it really that the next president of the United States really could be a WWE Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I know.
Nuts. Obviously, Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Did some great things for Memphis Wrestling and loved wrestling and passionate about the product.
Yeah, his feud with Jerry Lawler really kind of brought wrestling to the mainstream.
Yeah, as much as you could have in the 70s for an independent group like Memphis. Yeah, I agree with that. Bob Uecker, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a name you think of, and his contributions early on in the WrestleMania era.
Two more names on my list I wanted to just throw out there. Give props to Regis, who always put wrestling in. He always took it seriously.
Yes.
Whether on his show or on WrestleMania, he respected wrestlers. When a lot of people took them as jokes, Regis took them seriously. Thanks, Reg.
Yep.
And I have Lawrence Taylor on the good side. Lawrence was a WrestleMania main eventer, which not a lot of celebrities can say.
Yep.
And while he wasn't the best, I try to separate that. Was a legit athlete.
Yeah, he's believable.
Did a lot of press for WrestleMania. Mixed it up as good as you possibly can, I feel like. And LT did some good things in '95 for wrestling.
Yep, and also Floyd Mayweather taking on Big Show.
I have him in my maybe category. I didn't put his name on there because he was really involved, but he was just. I feel like it didn't come off well.
See, I thought it did because he was trying to sell himself doing this. And in turn, that helped WWE. I
agree and disagree. Okay. I think LT may have brought more eyes to WrestleMania 11 than Mayweather did to WrestleMania 24, whatever it was, in my opinion. Okay. So, any more names you want to throw out there?
Just future hopeful Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of can put her in the good category already. At WrestleMania 30, was it 30 or 31?
Just last year, so 31.
Yeah. Okay. She was got a lot of people talking for sure. Yeah. I'd love to see her at next year's myself. There you go. For myself, The Rob, my tag team partner Steve.
Now, can you dig that, sucker?